Hi there, my name is Amber Horsley, and it is my distinct privilege to share how amazing our God is with you. On July 7th at 12:08 a.m., my dad finished his valiant battle with cancer and went up to heaven to be with Jesus. And in all of the days up to and after and just that whole experience, I can't help but see God in every last detail. And so I have so much contentment, even in the midst of sadness and heartbreak. And a lot of that came through the people that were also a part of that experience. And some of them being unexpected people or unexpected ways. And that came in so many people. But I'm going to share about just a couple of them today. One of them, his name being Eric. He is a family member that I've known for years because as a kid, we would always go up to Pier for the 4th of July. And it was something that I always looked forward to and treasured. And we are very similar ages. And so we knew each other as kids and all the things. And I haven't seen him in 13 years. And from what I heard, and he told me, is that a lot of life changes and a lot of just things have happened in those years. And in his words, it brought him from being a militant atheist to a believer in those years. And especially this last year, God was really working on his heart. And I'm thankful he did, because he worked in a beautiful way in my family's heart and lives too during this whole experience. So on the 6th, when we were all at the hospital, and I mean, just everyone was flooding the hospital to celebrate those last moments with my dad, he came to the hospital, and he just kind of came in and comforted us and said, I just really felt called from God to come to the hospital today, to minister to you all, to bring comfort, but especially to you, talking to my brother. And which was so beautiful. And I'm so thankful that he felt that calling from God to just lean into my brother. And so they did. They went for a long walk and just talked about a lot of different things. And then when they came back, he stayed super late, coming and helping us with taking down my brother and sister-in-law's tent, because it was 90-degree days and very, very hot camping weather. And they had decided that a hotel was going to be a good option for them. Understandably. And so he stayed late into the night, helping them tear down their tent, helping get everything put away. And so he didn't leave to go back to his home until really late at night, like 10 o'clock at night. And he starts driving back, it's about 3 hours or so, back home. And around 11 o'clock at night or late into the night, he starts feeling this stirring in the spirit, this just feeling that he needs to turn around. Feeling something's up, like he needs to turn around. And so that at 12:08 a.m., he ends up calling another family member and says, something's up, like I'm turning around, I'm coming back. Meanwhile, at 12 o'clock, my mom is laying next to my dad in his hospital bed. And at 12:15, a nurse comes in and wakes up my mom and says, look, he isn't breathing. So at 12:15 was the official nurse's report that my dad passed. But I know it was 12:08 a.m. when Eric felt the stirring of spirit to turn around. I know that's when my dad passed. How incredible. How incredible. Because also, when I got a call from my mom at 12:30, my mom called me at 12:30 letting me know that dad was gone, that my first thoughts shortly after that was, 12:30, and they said 12:15, like he could have passed the day before. Like we don't really know what time he passed, because, nurses kind of come in and go out and things like that. And then later when I looked at the date, I saw that it was the 7th. And I knew without a shadow of a doubt that my dad passed on the 7th, because the 7th 7 in the Bible means completion, perfection, fulfillment. How amazing is that? And now I know that he passed at 12:08 a.m. And another person, completely unrelated and things like that, when a friend from Houston, when she had heard on Facebook that my dad passed, she had messaged me and she said, "Oh my goodness, I was just thinking last night," so the day after my dad passed, that about your dad, and just praying for you and praying for your family and all these things, and I meant to check in with you." And how amazing is it that, it was the day of it. She was thinking she wanted to message me, pray with me, all the different things. It was in those moments, right when Dad passed. How incredible. A friend that sadly we don't talk very often, as a lot of times your relationships are. That she thought of us right in those moments, In some of these instances, God speaks so clearly, and we can be used in so many different lives. And I'm so thankful to have Eric and my friend in Houston, Annette, just to be such clear examples of God speaking to them for my family, God is good. And he's clever. He uses different ways to speak to people and different things in ways you'll never expect. But all of it to bring glory to his name. And these are things I will forever treasure and point to how amazing our God is.